Hey guys, John here. Today I'm not actually going to be doing a review on a game. I wanted to talk about my thoughts and impressions so far. I've had the Rift for a little over 3 months now, and I've played a ton of games. When I first got the Rift, I knew not to be too hyped up about it. I read about the negative things about it and read the positive things, so I wasn't expecting too much from it, I guess. First, I'd like to say I was actually really impressed by it. The screen is low resolution, which as soon as you get immersed in the game, it's not that big of a problem. Retrofitted games are a bit more of a problem because of the HUD and stuff. You can't actually see it. You have to do a lot of editing of the HUD and everything. But those games weren't even meant to be played on the Rift, so you can't really judge the Rift based on those games. Now, the first time I put on the Rift, I was just completely amazed. I mean, the head tracking was one to one. You know, you anywhere you looked, it looked. It was great. First game I played was Tuscany. Really wish I would have recorded it, but at the time I didn't realize I was going to be doing videos. I was really over the top amazed. The low resolution was not a problem for me. The screen door effect, I guess they call it, it wasn't that big of a deal. The head, I've heard people complain that it's heavy. I mean, honestly, to me, it's not heavy at all. I had my 8-year-old nephew and my 12-year-old nephews check it out playing Minecraft, and even they didn't complain about the weight of it. So I'm not sure where these people think that it's heavy. I'm not sure what the problem is there. Now having it on for extended period of time, it does you do get kind of sweaty, but I mean it's a mask on your face. It's kind of gonna happen. I actually use a fan on my desk blowing on me, so I don't have that problem, and it actually helps with the immersion, especially in games where you're moving. You know, you get the sense, the extra immersion of the wind blowing on your face. So that's something else that I just don't see as a big problem. Sorry, I keep looking at the background here. It's kind of tripping me out. If anybody's wondering, this is actually just Winamp using the milk drop visualizations and Vorpex to make it work with the Rift. I figured I'd give you guys something to look at while you're listening to me drone on about nothing. One of the most amazing things about the Rift is the scale of objects in the Rift. I mean, it's playing like Titans of Space and various other games. It's really amazing to see how big things are. Stuff that you cannot see it on the Rift. It's something you can't explain. It's something you have to experience. I mean, flying around the sun and have to actually look up and down to see the entire thing. It was just really immersive and amazing. Like I said, it's something you just have to experience. Some of my favorite games are the horror games because they're just so immersive and they actually scare you. I've seen a lot of people like that weren't actually faking it because there was a lot of videos where they're faking being scared, where they said they have to take off the Rift because it scares them so much. You know, I haven't had to actually take the Rift off, but it can get pretty scary. You know, it does get your adrenaline pumping, which is amazing for a game because I've watched tons of scary movies and played tons of scary games, and they never really had that effect on me. I found that some of the better games on the Rift are games that I wouldn't even play on a monitor. They just would not work. They're just too simple or just not good enough. But in the Rift, I mean, the immersion level alone makes games that are subpar be excellent, I guess you'd put it, which is great. I mean, I can't wait to start seeing some AAA games or seeing some of these games developers are working on now. I can't wait to see them a year from now in the Rift. I mean, it's going to be really amazing. One thing is the retrofitted games that I've played have been cool, and I mean, it is kind of nostalgic to get to play your games that you've played on a monitor in 3D, you know, and with the immersion, but they're just not as good as Rift made games. And I've seen a couple people complain about the Rift not being as good as they thought it was going to be, and then they say that they've only played Dear Esther and Half-Life 2 and TF2 and stuff like that, and they haven't actually checked out any games actually made for the Rift. So if you're one of those people, I mean, I really stress checking out games that were actually made for the Rift. The retrofitted games, they're fun, it's cool to play, but they're not meant for the Rift. Now that I've played, I don't know, probably over 200 different games, the wow factor isn't as strong as it was when I first got it. I know in some of my videos people have said, you should talk about how it makes you feel more. And sometimes, I mean, it is still immersive. I mean, it's still really great, don't get me wrong. But I'm just used to it. It's kind of like somebody going to an IMAX theater for the first time. And then, if you went there every week for a couple months, it just wouldn't be as amazing to start with, but it's still great. I've seen a few people worried about eye strain and long-term effects of the Rift, which nobody can say if it's good or bad, because Rift hasn't been out for that long. But actually, when I first used it, I did have a lot of eye strain, but that was based on that I did not have my IPD set correctly. And after I've used it for a while, I mean, I did get used to it. I no longer had that eye strain problem. But I actually noticed, I took one of my contacts out, I was having problems with it, and I was actually able to focus better with my eye with the contact in than I used to be. So, I mean, it might just be in my head, but I think it's actually made my ability to focus on things a lot better. I've let 8 different people try the Rift, and only one of those 8 people have actually got sick. I know that there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, I get sick. The thing is, you only hear about the people getting sick because the people that don't get sick have no reason to complain. So I don't think the number of people that are getting sick is that big compared to the people that are able to play it with no problems. I mean, the one person that did get sick while using it, she gets motion sickness already. And, I mean, she put it on, she was able to use it for a couple of minutes and started feeling queasy and had to take it off. When she tried it again, I put her in, what game was it? Proton Pulse. She had no problem with it whatsoever. So, I mean, games where people have severe sickness to it, if you play games that are where you don't walk around, you should be fine and you'll be able to get your VR legs better. I mean, you just got to get used to it. Your body's got to get used to the movement. I mean, everybody's going to react different to the Rift, of course, because everybody is different. But most people that do get the VR sickness, once they've played it for a while and not tried playing games like Half-Life 2 that were not meant for the Rift, and started, playing games that were easy on motion sickness, don't really have a problem. And once you get your VR legs, then you step into those games. And then you can check those games out. I know people want to jump right in and play Portal 2 and Half-Life 2 and Skyrim and everything without ever getting their VR legs, and then they complain that they get sick. Most of the problems with the Rift are simply because it is a developer kit. I mean, the low resolution, because it's a developer kit. They shipped it, they wanted to get it out so people can start making content. It wasn't made for people to check out games, and that's not a problem. The thing being too heavy for some people, I mean, same thing. It was a developer kit. It wasn't meant for consumers. If it's too heavy for you, which I really don't see how it could be too heavy for you. Like I said, I've let my nephews use it. They were little kids, and they didn't even have problems with it. So that's not really a problem. The only thing I have had a real problem with is the lenses. I am using the B-cup lenses even though I have 20/20 vision with my contacts on, simply because the sweet spot's a lot bigger, but you do see less of the screen. But for me, it's actually a better trade-off. I would rather be able to look around and be able to see stuff in focus. and not have to move the Rift on my head every couple minutes every time it slightly moves, because there's a bigger sweet spot. So anybody that has a Rift and has been using the A cups and feels like you can't keep it in focus, you should really try the B cup lenses. I did recently read that the development kit is going to actually have another one come out. There wasn't too much information on it, and I kind of have mixed feelings about it. I mean, I know the development kits aren't for consumers. I mean, it's more for the developers and hardcore enthusiasts. But I mean, the only people that should be buying the second development kit are really just developers, so that they can get their games ready for the Rift. I mean, to spend another $300 on a development kit if you're not planning on developing, unless you just have $300, it seems like a waste, unless there's just some significant jump in the technology. And I mean, just a higher resolution screen I don't think would be enough to warrant spending $300 more on another Rift. Maybe if they added positional tracking. But what I'm worried about is spending another $300 on a development kit and then have them say, oh, 3 months from now we're going to end up releasing the consumer version. There goes another $300. It's just going to be close to $900 in a year to a year and a half, which is a lot of money, or a lot of money for me at least. So I don't think I'm going to be actually investing in the development kit, the second development kit. Alright guys, I think I'm going to end it here. I'm probably forgetting to talk about something, but there is always next time. And I do want to say that everything I've said is my opinion. I'm not trying to start an argument with anybody, so please take them as that. Anyway, if you have any comments, questions, or requests, please post them below as always. If you liked the video and would like to see more, please like and subscribe. And thanks for watching, guys.